Welcome to the SharkPreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Green. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Green is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
Do you want to become insanely successful? Do you want to be the go-to guru in your industry? Do you want to be talked about for all the right reasons? For over 40 years, Kevin Harrington has helped people just like you become significant influencers. Now he's broken the process down in the Key Person of Influence Roadmap, and it's yours for free. Just text KPI to him at 727-888-2100. Text KPI to 727-888-2100 right now and claim your free step-by-step guide. Text KPI to 727-888-2100 to get the recognition you deserve and experience the success as the go-to voice everyone listens to in your industry today. Welcome to the SharkPreneur Show. This is your co-host, Seth Green. Today I have the good fortune to be joined by Dan Kryzanowski of RocketDollar.com. Dan, thanks so much for joining us.
Seth, great to be here, buddy.
All right, let's dive right in. For our folks who don't know, what is Rocket Dollar?
The tagline is, we'll help you pay no taxes or get more money faster.
Pay no taxes or get more money faster. That is a sexy tagline. However, it could apply to a bunch of, it could be an accounting website. It could be a number of different things. What is Rocket Dollar?
Yeah, so we are an online platform that enables you as an individual to take control of your retirement dollars to invest in private and alternative assets.
Okay, and you do that through a certain type of vehicle. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, so the vehicle is checkbook controlled, self-directed accounts. And there's two types. The self-directed IRA, SDIRA, is generally the Gatorade term. It's been around since the 70s. And then the solo 401k, also known as an individual or EQRP, that's been around for about the past 20 years or so, which is great for entrepreneurs, married couples, folks with a side gig, veterpreneurs, dualpreneurs, you name it. As more of us have a side gig. And the fun fact there is you can actually defer up to $62,000 a year. So as long as the account's open by December 31st.
Awesome. So, all right. So they should definitely, if they haven't made their contributions this year, they definitely should. Mm-hmm. So for our folks who don't know, what is a self-directed IRA and 401k, and how are those different from a regular IRA and regular 401k that we might have at work?
Great. So yeah, you hit it spot on. Most folks are used to going into a job, having a 401k, seeing 10 options and probably clicking, equal weighted. And then diversification is when they maybe choose one mutual fund over another, or when they say move from company A to B, their 401k becomes their quote unquote old 401k, more properly termed as a rollover IRA, sits with a Fidelity, for example, and then you have those options, but you're still pretty limited. Now, as it sounds, self-directed, and I say with capital S, capital D, it really lets you go from dozens to millions of potential options, because basically anything you can do with your piggy bank checking account, you can now do backed by your retirement dollars.
Okay, so that's obviously a huge difference. And when we say millions, we don't want people to get overwhelmed. No. They don't literally need to go through a million choices. No. Talk a little bit about what are some of those alternative asset classes that they can get access to in a self-directed IRA or 401k that in a regular retirement vehicle they couldn't.
Sure. So the nice things about these accounts, and I'll caveat my answer with, for folks familiar with the health savings account, HSA, on this call, what's nice about an HSA is that the government tells you what you cannot do. So of course you need surgery, you have your debit card backed by some credit union somewhere, you get your surgery, you swipe your card, it's backed by health dollars. You want to go for manicure, pedicure? Sorry, you're below board. Same deal here. The IRS says, listen, you can do whatever you would do with your money, meaning I'm going to buy a rental property. I'm going to invest in a buddy's startup. I want to give a peer-to-peer loan. I support a female entrepreneur. you name it, anything you can do with your personal dollars, you are now doing with your retirement dollars. So that's when we say exponential or millions. You're right. I mean, we don't expect folks to look at millions, but it should ever be wherever you are, most comfortable. Real estate's a very common asset class a lot of folks have been going into. And with the checkbook control, also, if you want to say dip your toe in the water with different asset classes, just like writing a normal check from your piggy bank checking account, you're now doing that, but backed by your retirement dollars with maybe checks as low as 500 or 1,000 in some of these crowdfunding campaigns.
Okay, that is super exciting.
Yeah.
So how did Rocket Dollar come about?
Yeah, so like anything, there's a few founding stories. The one that I'm most intimate with, Henry Yoshida, our CEO, and for reference, Goldman Sachs purchased his last company 18 months in. So we take the foundation and the setup, kind of the bones of our company, very seriously. And I was on a plane with Henry, and I said, hey, by the way, you ever check out self-storage? I think it's a great investment, especially for your retirement. And I said, hey, did you know you can use your retirement dollars if you fill out this form, and then find a scanner and a fax machine? And Henry's mind was probably, imagine if I can just click one button. So fast forward about 2 years, in Rocket Dollar, the foundation that has been built out, as legally quick and easy as it is to move money and sign up for an account, we've done that for the individual. And then on the flip side, we're also very sensitive to folks that are raising money. I mean, in the aggregate, there is $10 trillion out there. I'm from Philadelphia originally, actually Scranton, PA, but, Rocky Balboa, this is the only number that we can go Rocky with, versus our national deficit. And that number is going to grow, as folks leave their current jobs. It's going to, some figures say as high as 30 or 35 trillion. My point is only a tiny, tiny piece, 100 billion, are used in these accounts. So the big thing here has been, an issue of awareness, not for you and I as individuals, but also people raising money. And a final point to make is for folks that are raising money, that inform their audience to say, did you know you can also use your retirement dollars? Lo and behold, they tend to get about 20% of their raise from these retirement accounts.
Wow. Okay. So that's an incredible origin story. And then obviously you've got your own as well. You've got quite a background in FinTech. Talk a little bit about your history. Yeah,
so I've been fortunate. I mean, probably like you look a lot younger than me, but some of us with a few gray hairs out here. I grew up in the Northeast, as I said, actually in Scranton, PA. Did my undergrad at Wharton, traded for Merrill Lynch. If I did what I did on the debt side, you talking to me from my island right now, but I would have caused a financial crisis. That said, the flip side, equity market's not as lucrative. I got sick of the cold, went out to Thunderbird, great experience. It's funny, I saw somebody with a hat saying Guadalajara. I'm like, what'd you bring back? They said a bottle of tequila. I said, well, I brought back a wife and a son. And that was my
win.
I win, yes. So that was my Mexico experience. And, General Electric 2006, I great experience there. And, at the time was the top company in the world. And I had the benefit of seeing many, we called it commercial, which meant front end sort of businesses. Which one of the most unique was cargo ports. So I say, picture if real estate and aviation had a baby, what would come out is the pieces of real estate that UPS and FedEx fly into and then drive out of. So this was my first taste. And as my wife and I made a conscious decision to move back to Austin, kind of in advance of, Rainy Street blowing up and all of the, the great stuff here at the growth in Austin, it's been a variety of FinTech and real estate tech. But the main thing for me, it's always been about the education. And here's what I mean by that is that obviously we're all given a different, draw in life in terms of where we grew up, where we went to school, how much assets we have, especially saying we're 18, younger and then 18, 21, et cetera. But my mission has always been to at least everybody has the same level of education. So for the past decade, call it with my 9 to 5, it's always been about the small town community, the frontline worker, the mom and pop business. And this ranges from community banking to give them a fighting chance versus the mega banks to have some first-class products. I did that at Bank Casasa. Sparefoot, we had an amazing product, or else any of the mom and pops would never be on the first page of Google. And then most recently with Alchemy Systems, I felt great because we were literally saving lives. I'd say we knew it's not as much what you say, but will you be understood by the end audience? And it's not the sexiest business to be chopping off chickens' heads, to put it lightly. And what was provided here literally saved, definitely hundreds of lives, and also, do contribute to the bottom line. So in a similar spirit here, I view, capital is such a huge thing, even when, people stereotype the wrong side of the tracks, the other side. For the older folks on the call, I call it like Mr. Burns is up in his mansion. He's probably still stuck in Fidelity at some 2% bond fund.
Oh my
If I
God.
tell him he can get 10%, he's not going to care. He's going to move money down. And then, I'll pick on my hippy dippy friends here. They want to help the world, but ultimately what I've seen in my personal investment, using once again a checkbook controlled, self-directed solo 401k, has been loans and early investments to female entrepreneurs. And A, they pay. B, they do great things for the community, and the dollar recycles, time and time over again. And I think it's a great steward where I think the country is going to focus small business, side business that want to get funded by friends and family. So I think from an education place, that's been my big mission, and Rockefeller is such a tremendous platform for this.
That's awesome. So I think we're not going to go into all of them on the call on the podcast, but I think there's some rules around what you are and aren't allowed to invest in. Obviously they're a lot looser, but for example, I can't fund my own business or buy my own house in an IRA, right?
You're correct. So once again, the IRS says what you cannot do. No life insurance, no collectibles like Air Jordans, collectible cars. And then the final thing is not yourself or your linear family, AKA no self-dealing. So you're spot on. You cannot buy your primary residence or a secondary where you may go on the weekends. You cannot buy a flat at the university and then your kids stay there over time. You cannot invest in your own startup. That said, with the solo 401k, what's so attractive about this is that you can borrow up to $50,000 and do whatever you want with that money, so as long as it's paid back over 5 years. So what I see is a lot of entrepreneurs say, I have this idea, I don't want to get funding yet. I'm actually going to borrow for myself. If things go well, sure, I'll get the Series A, I'll pay it back through. If things don't, my spouse will probably say, you need a real job, go back out and get one. And the money will pay, and it's very powerful. And we see other folks that say, well, since I'm paying myself back interest, I can boost up my balance. So if people's main goal in life is just get that balance up, that's another way, kind of a backdoor sort of way to do it.
Okay. So if I have, let's say $100,000 in a 401k at a previous employer that I haven't rolled over to an IRA yet, I can roll it into assuming I'm now working for myself, I can now roll it into my solo 401k, borrow the 50 grand of that money from myself, and then use that to do whatever I want, where there are quote unquote no rules. But then the 401, let's say if I use that as a down payment on rental property, the 401k doesn't own it, and the income from it doesn't go into my 401k. I own it personally. It's as if it was my money from a bank account.
You're 100%. So as long as you pay back that 50K over 5 years, and even worst case, what's nice about the solo formula, let's say you only paid back 40, you would only be penalized on that delta, the difference of 10 for early withdrawal. So the solo 401k, the flip side of that too, you have a rock star year as a consultant on the side. You can contribute, as I said, up to 56,000, 62,000 if you're over age 50. And the breakdown of this is right off the bat, 19,000, much like all of us in a kind of stagnant W-2 job that maxes out every year. And then being conservative, 20% of your net earnings. So somebody that makes 100,000 as a side gig, right off the bat, you can defer 39,000. So it's really powerful from that standpoint.
That is absolutely super powerful. What are some of the biggest mistakes you see folks making when it comes to investing in using a solo 401k or IRA?
Yeah, like anything I would say don't go outside of your comfort level. And this is just more of a general, I think, retirement or just general investing strategy. Meaning if you're a real estate person, never invested in startups or tech or even heard of blockchain or, you name it, don't throw 6 figures at it on day one. No. And that's regardless of, any sort of account. The second thing I'd say, the rules are very clear. And, we at Rockefeller, we're very conservative on the sales side. If somebody asks us a question, for example, cannabis is still a no-no. There hasn't been a federal kind of regulation, and we don't expect one in the next year. Otherwise, if somebody's making it clear they're playing hey, I'm going to, I'm going to actually go to this condo on the weekends. Like, nope, that's self-dealing, can't do that. So we're very clear, and even on our fulfillment side, we felt that we brought in the top team in the country. I mean, we have ex-Merrill Lynch, JD MBAs on the support side and fulfillment. So we said if we're going to win anywhere, and I think we're winning exponentially versus other folks in the space starting on the support and fulfillment. We've also been told our tech and marketing has been above and beyond anybody else in the space also. But ultimately, it's going to come down to, I think, the education. Our knowledge base, HubSpot voted us one of the top in the world, which is great. And then the support side, the numbers don't lie. Our average customer satisfaction is about 99%. The industry tends to be about 30 to 40%. So we're taking the human side to this seriously.
That is awesome. It speaks volumes to what you're doing, not only that you're getting recognized by others for what you're doing. So let's talk a little bit about competition. You are not the only trust company provider of of self-directed 401ks. Obviously, our IRAs, you guys didn't invent the process. Talk a little bit about what makes you different.
Yeah, so what makes us different, first and foremost, myself and the founding team, we've had these accounts for many years, both personally and then also raising money. So that's I think a big difference, that we've been in this space. And then also we've been in other tangential spaces. Most of us have had some sort of, call it, Wall Street career or tech career or real estate career behind it. Secondly, we have the benefit, and this isn't super coincidence, but kind of growing up in the cloud and laying our foundation and seeing what investors want based off of our CEO's last experience with, as I said, Goldman Sachs, seeing the benefit to purchase the company 18 months in. And then finally here, the two most important resources, of course, are time and money, with time being the more valuable one. So what we've done is as once again, as legally possible in this space, we've had our sign up gone from, historically in this space has been many hours filling out paperwork, et cetera. It's 5 minutes online, personal information, credit card, driver's license, boom, e-sign a few things, transfer your money over. And we have patent pending technology in the background for that. Your account's up and funded. And then the big thing is the checkbook control, which I feel this is what makes a country club cool. Because in the past, you can go to your friends and be like, hey, this is a great self-storage deal and it pays 10%. But then it's like, well, I was on the phone for 3 hours to get it done. That's a tough putt. And then especially, I think for folks raising money, I think a lot of folks have taken these self-directed checks begrudgingly because they got stuck on the phone with some random third party about their paperwork, not the deal. So a very real example, one of my buddies flips houses, and every few months he's like, hey, do you want to throw an extra 25, 10K? And I'm usually like, sure. Before Rockefeller, if I didn't have the liquid funds, I'd be like, you know what? 10K times whatever percent times 6 months, I'm like, it's probably not worth our time. So we didn't do it. So for the hundreds and thousands of, call it syndicators, deal sponsors that are finally learning about this, it's very country club cool. As we call it, 6 figures in 6 minutes. You take a few minutes here, you copy paste an email, say, folks, you can also use your retirement, then take 1 minute to accept the checks, and that's it. We've seen it play out time and time out with dozens of partners already.
Okay, so that obviously you've made it. You followed, let's say in Jeff Bezos' footsteps, in that you're make it easier for them to do business with you as possible. Make it as easy as possible for them to give money, invest, remove that friction, and obviously you'll capture a greater share of the market. When was Rocket Dollar founded, and how has it gone? How is it going?
Yeah, so we came out of the womb maybe a little early, but to take advantage of South by Southwest in Austin in March. So we, approaching 2 years at this point. We built the foundation, I said, in the spirit of our CEO's last company. So our bones, a real estate term, our bones are solid. They're very solid at this point. The technology, we have an API. So let's say if you, personally, everybody here has bought a, Ticketmaster ticket or something, and how are you going to check out? Cash, credit card, PayPal. We've built that ubiquitous Rocket Dollar button in the background, and it's being implemented this quarter by some crowdfunding campaigns and others. And we do feel it's going to be, this is going to be the wave of the future. So, our big company goal would become as the Charles Schwab of the 2020s. And obviously it's a huge number, but it's not that unfeasible when more folks call it the millennial mindset that frankly many, I'll say quote unquote adults, older folks are taking on now to take back control of their money, to diversify. That's what we're seeing out there right now.
And what are you looking at in terms for, obviously if I invest in real estate in my IRA, there's no national clearinghouse or exchange to know what my value is. How do statements work? Because if I get a statement, who's going to decide what it's supposed to show every month?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we actually, once again, we're really about empowering you as the individual. We have a technology and investment tracker that you can list what you have. And with our gold offering, we launched a few months ago, and this came about from speaking to, call it our first 10,000 plus sales calls, support calls. So what this is here is the ability to list your investments. If it's over a certain value, there's a form that has to be filled out that we'll assist with. If you want to do a Roth conversion, so the whole Facebook analogy, I'd rather pay on the little seed instead of the big tree, pay my taxes, we can do a Roth conversion within your solo 401k. For folks with active properties that want that, old school checkbook, we have all of that within our offering. And then also an expedited service. We get it, life gets busy. You hear of a great investment, you're like, oh no, I got to get my money in by Thanksgiving. Can you help me? So, the benefit, what we've been doing to earlier questions, every few months, it's always been in the shoes of, ultimately the end investor, and then also, to appoint the deal sponsor or partner organization.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. You've obviously working on a better mousetrap and it's working. So that's incredible. Congratulations. I understand that you have been very generous and have a very special offer for our SharkPreneur Nation.
Yes, so holiday season here. So first, please check us out, rocketdollar.com/SharkPreneur, and then SharkPreneur, all caps 19, as in the year 2019. SharkPreneur 19 will get you $100 off your Rocket Dollar account.
Thank you very much. We will go send them to rocketdollar.com/SharkPreneur, code SharkPreneur19, all caps, for the $100 discount. Thank you so much. Dan, thanks so much for joining us.
Awesome, Seth. Good stuff. Thanks.
Thanks everybody for watching or listening, and we'll see you next time. Do you need money to fund your idea, product, or service? Are you ready to take your business to the next level but need capital to get it done? Kevin Harrington has heard more than 50,000 pitches and knows how to help you make the perfect pitch to get the funding for your entrepreneurial dream. He's distilled the process down in his perfect pitch cheat sheet, and it's yours for free. Just text PITCH to him right now at 727-888-2100. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 right now and claim your free perfect pitch cheat sheet. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 to start funding your dream today.
This show has been produced by Market Domination, LLC. To discover how you can have your own show completely done for you and turn it into a real published book and become the authority in your marketplace, go to www.marketdominationllc.com/podcast offer.